Hello and welcome back to Coffee on Korriban. I am joined once again by the best mother in the world, Mrs. Korriban. Welcome back. We are going to talk about, first off, spoiler-free, about the Ahsoka premiere, episodes 1 and 2, and then we will let you know when we get into spoiler territory, as a lot of other channels do, so we don't spoil it for you. Please go watch this for yourself. First off, right off the bat, I'm going to say it's great. It's not topping Andor for me, but it might. This set the tone really well for the rest of the season. So, what was your rating out of 10 for these first two episodes combined?
I feel like everybody's going to have a different opinion, but I would put it at a 9.
A 9.
I'd say 9. I was,
Wow.
I went into this kind of neutral. Didn't have negative thoughts, didn't have positive thoughts. I was kind of not wanting my hopes up or down.
Pretty open-minded. I was the same way.
Yeah.
Very optimistic. I thought this was going to have a different feel from something like The Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett. But at the same time, it's Disney making it. And, I mean, it's Disney making it. So, I wanted it to be great. And my honest rating is 8.5 out of 10.
And that's what scares me, because I'm hoping they don't make it awesome and then the rest of the...
Yeah, junk it up halfway through the season.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I will say, right off the bat, this is straight up Rebels Season 5.
Yes.
It in all the best ways. It is continuing on the characters, the...
Scenery.
The scenery is exact. We'll get into a little bit more details in a second behind the spoiler section. Let me write that down.
Yes.
But it is straight up Rebels Season 5.
I think
in all
that's
the best ways.
That's what impressed me the most.
Yeah.
And
obviously we're dealing with different stuff than we were dealing with specifically in Rebels.
yes.
But it feels like it. It's in the same way that The Bad Batch was Clone Wars Season 8.
Yeah.
It just a continuation, but in a different form. That's what we were dealing with. That the cinematography is really great. The directing and the way that they tell the story in this.
You could see they put a little more money.
I don't even know if it's money, just passion. Like you could
there
tell
you
that
go.
they really care about producing
a lot more
quality
thought.
content this time.
Yeah.
As opposed to just banking on Obi-Wan's name or something like that. Boba Fett's name. So the way that it's constructed feels really solid. The score is amazing. The music was fantastic.
Yes.
We'll talk a little bit more about the
Yes.
music in a
Spoiler,
second. The casting
Yes.
is solid so
and we
far.
won't go into too much detail about that right now.
The casting
but
is solid.
They're actually
They're choosing the
acting.
right people. They're
Yes.
choosing the right people. There's no Lizzo and Jack Black. I'll just say that. And the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get into spoilers is it's a totally different feel from the other Star Wars shows we've gotten so far. I've been talking about this for the last couple weeks since we started getting the full trailers.
More sci-fi.
I thought it was going to have a different feel. It is much more sci-fi, as you were saying. I don't know if any of you have seen The Expanse. We watched a couple seasons through VidAngel, I think, where you could
filtered
have it filter out the language and stuff. But it's a legitimate show, not a Star Wars show. Like it in the same way that Andor was a legitimate TV show. Ahsoka seems to be that a little bit more sci-fi focused.
I think going back on what you said, it's definitely they put a lot more thought into it. With choosing the actors and actresses and then putting a lot of detail into the cinematography.
It's very deliberate. It doesn't seem slapped together like Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan did, or even Mandalorian Season 3.
Like they rushed into it.
Those seem slapped together.
Yeah.
And this doesn't. It seems like they actually thought this one out. And that makes sense. Ahsoka is Dave Filoni's child. It's his pet project. If there's anything he's going to pour the resources in creative wise, it's going to be this show. So that really pays off.
I'm just hoping they don't stick anything.
It's really that good at this point where it's like, please don't mess it up.
Please.
But I'm genuinely excited for next week.
Yes.
It was that feeling when the episode ends of, oh no, we want more. And that was lacking in The Mandalorian season 3. When the episode concludes, we didn't feel we want more. But in this, when this finished, absolutely, like, I can't wait for next week. Very excited. And that's that butts in seats I was talking about in that video.
Just thinking that.
In that last video.
Well, they got me. They got me hooked.
They got me butted to the seat. So we'll just leave it there. So that's it for the spoiler-free section. Hopefully I didn't touch on anything
Unless we spoiled.
No, I don't think so.
Unless
I think that was pretty fair. So if you have not watched it yet, definitely go check it out before you watch the rest of this little recap review and come back. But for those of you that have seen it and you want to get into the spoilers, Hu Yang, the droid.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I said this while we were
that guy.
watching it. They're giving us another droid to care about and get frustrated at when they kill him off. He's similar to K2SO from Rogue One.
Yeah.
But different. He's in a different lane. But he's very logical. I don't know, maybe K2SO mixed with C-3PO? He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool droid.
I liked him.
He's enough of a droid to where he doesn't feel cheesy, but he's enough of a person to where he has a legitimate character.
Yeah.
And I want to know more about him. And I believe he was a Jedi Temple droid or something like that. So it has something to do with the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
I think it was what we picked up because he knew the lightsabers.
Yeah.
I think he said for 500 years he's been around.
Oh, yes,
helping
that's
with
right.
padawans.
Yep.
And I don't know exactly what his role was, but very interesting to learn about the backstory of the droid. In terms of Rebels Season 5, things that carried over, which two characters did we decide were the closest adaptations of their Rebels counterparts?
Definitely Sabine. I think, I was worried. I was worried
Yeah.
seeing the trailers that I was like, oh, great. They're just,
No, so the actress is nailing
She
it.
was,
And
she was great.
the screenwriting and the dialogue is exactly what Sabine from Rebels would say.
Yeah.
And her mannerisms and the way that she acts is her character from Rebels. Very happy to see that carry through. The other character that we decided on was Chopper.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard to mess that up. You just make the same sounds and get him to move the right way, but it's straight out of Rebels.
Yeah.
Now, one that I'm not completely sold on yet is Hera.
Yeah.
And that's just, I think, purely looks-wise. Maybe Hera from Rebels was a hard character to translate to live action. I'm sure she'll grow on me as we get into it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's nothing that she's acting wrong or doing anything that's fine. It's just visually it's hard for my brain to assume that's Hera.
So far with how phenomenal they've been doing with their casting, it helps to kind of overlook that. If that makes sense, like it kind of overlooks. Like I know, Seth T was not feeling it because of Ahsoka.
Because of Ahsoka, it doesn't look like Ahsoka from Clone Wars. Yeah, and there's only so much you can do. I think the other
acting kind of makes up for that. So.
Yeah. That it's really good. Like when Chopper suggested to shoot down the ship, he's like, just shoot it out of the sky.
Yeah,
and we all know the whole backstory about Chopper's kill count or whatever, but that's very in line with his character. The memorial that they have on Lothal is in the style of Rebels artwork and most clearly on Ezra's face on the mural. It's like straight out of Rebels.
Yeah, I thought that was actually
cool,
pretty neat.
An in-universe way to pay homage to the Rebels artwork.
Yes.
Which was controversial with the skinny lightsabers and different looking Yoda and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. See my video on how to accept the sequels for haters if you want some explanations on why certain things look different at different times. But that I thought was really cool. The location of Lothal
was that was
exactly
the runway and then
in the tower.
Ezra's tower,
everything is exactly
so awesome. I love that.
Rebels.
Yeah.
And it feels like it. It feels like you're bringing Rebels to live action, which is what we wanted out of this show.
And like I mentioned to you earlier, that was the one thing I was worried about, is that they would try and make it feel different than Rebels. Like, not even close to the same storylines or anything. So
no, but they're doing a really good job
so
on
far.
that.
I know, and I'm scared to say that. I don't want to.
Another thing I thought was really interesting, Balin is a Jedi deserter.
Yeah.
According to Yang.
Yeah.
He said that Balin left the Jedi Order toward the end of the Clone Wars, and that got me thinking about something I never really thought about before. How many Jedi deserters were there during the Clone Wars? I mean, just in any other war, people that don't agree with the politics of what's going on in the war and don't want any part of it, but are already roped into it, would desert. And Jedi deserters seems like something that would probably be a lot more common than we know about, because I've never thought about that before. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think about the musical choice for Sabine when she was going down that highway?
I didn't mind it. It kind of... It's fine for me. Like, it didn't bother me. I felt like it kind of matched with her personality, her character, but
Yeah.
I know a lot of people wouldn't care
I
about
know
that.
that's going to be a big complaint from a lot of people. It fits her character. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. It didn't even sound like rock music or anything specific from our world. But if that's in universe, it's the exact sort of thing that she would listen to.
Yeah.
So that's what
I
I
am
have
saying,
no
like, it
problem
matched,
with it.
yeah.
But I know a lot of people are going to complain about that specifically.
Kind of, yeah.
It's a non-issue. So another thing, a question that I had answered is, if Sabine is going to be using this lightsaber, if she was an apprentice at some point, is she force sensitive? Are they just making everyone force sensitive, which seems kind of cheesy? But Hu Yang actually swooped in with an explanation and was basically saying, of all the Jedi I've seen and the prospects in my years as being a Jedi Temple droid or whatever, you have absolutely the worst amount of pure raw talent out of anyone I've seen. So that proves that she doesn't magically have force powers. She's not automatically able to be a Jedi, which isn't the point of her training, because Ahsoka's not a Jedi.
Yeah.
So she's training her as her apprentice for whatever Ahsoka's role is right now, not as a Jedi. And
Yeah, and you can see Sabine is more passionate about it because of Ezra. I mean, that's her drive mostly.
Yeah.
So.
And we've known for a while that different beings and species have different levels of force sensitivity, maybe not to the point of being able to use the force to levitate things or mind control or something like that, but in reflexes, in acrobatic abilities, certain things like that. Han Solo has a higher midichlorian count than the average human, and we know from Anakin in episode 1 that he's the only human that can pod race because other species have better reaction times, probably because of their midichlorian counts. So Mandalorians, I believe, are more force sensitive than the average human, I believe. So that would make sense if she already has a little bit of a predisposition to those quicker reflexes, acrobatic maneuvers, that sort of stuff. So
She was definitely not showing it.
because that was a complaint I had, is like, oh, they're gonna make everyone a Jedi. They're gonna make everyone force sensitive.
Yeah.
But if that's the explanation they're going with, and that she's not that talented or naturally gifted in the ways of the Force, totally fine by me. She's not training.
You
to
can
be
see
a
that.
Jedi.
You can see that in that scene. In that.
Where she's trying, yeah.
I like that though. I like that they showed her not
and there
really
was-
knowing what she was doing.
There was a second during that fight scene where I thought, like, what, man, like, someone's got to fix the choreography. She's really clunky with that thing. And then I realized
Wait a minute.
she's not supposed to be gifted with that. Like, she isn't supposed to have experience with that weapon. So it's not an issue. The fight choreography was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it at all. Nothing. Ooh, that bomb that blew up the
in the
Night Sisters
beginning.
temple in the
Yes.
beginning was really cool.
I wasn't
where
expecting
it wasn't
that.
a full-on explosion. It just kind of like grew the flame on the ground level.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I would be really interested in thinking long and hard about the physics behind that, of how you could actually create a weapon that would incinerate on ground level instead of actually physically blowing everything up. So I thought that was a cool bomb. I know this video is running a little longer, but very happy with these first 2 episodes. It seems like they're building a gateway to the other galaxy, as opposed to a vessel that will travel across the stars.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you picked up on as well?
Yes.
Or they
After
called it
you
the
had
eye
mentioned,
of something, or
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember exactly what they called it. Someone correct me in the chat, in the comments. This isn't live.
Yeah.
Comments. But it definitely seems like they're going to try to build this different type of technology to where they can bring someone from another galaxy. Because we don't know what the distance is between galaxies.
Oh.
This is past the unknown regions. This
Gotcha.
isn't, you know, like the
Yeah,
four
yeah.
worlds, the outer rim,
How she had mentioned, what's her name?
the magistrate lady,
Yeah.
Elsbeth.
Elsbeth. That's all I remember. Morgan.
Morgan
Morgan,
Elsbeth.
there you go. Yeah, how she had mentioned, like, this is our galaxy, and then
Yeah, it's totally,
this is her.
totally
Yeah, well,
separate. And you can imagine if you're traveling at light speed, you wouldn't be able to cross the distance. It's too far.
So they're going to try to bring...
Either bring him... Teleporting is a rough way to describe it, I guess, maybe, if I was catching on to that correctly. But we'll see what they use it for. I think they said 9 of those hyperdrive cores or something that they were using to construct that. So a lot of power being generated. Was that guy an Inquisitor?
Yes. I want to
so.
say yes,
I think so.
because of
He
his
hasn't-
double...
He hasn't spoken. His lightsaber.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got the face thing. He's probably just a leftover
You would
Inquisitor.
expect it that they would bring that in because of Rebels, how they
We'll call
had
him
so
the
many...
13th brother or something. I don't know.
I don't know that. I mean...
Balin and the Scarlet Johansson Spider lady, they don't seem too locked on with Morgan Elsbeth.
No.
In terms of loyalty. They don't really
Yeah.
know exactly where their allegiances lie and if they're completely sold.
And I think that kind of ties into what... Who was it who said... I think it was Ahsoka who had mentioned it's not loyalty, it's greed. And it's like, they're obviously all wanting something.
And greed doesn't just have to be for money. They could be them two searching for purpose. If they've left...
Well, he
if
said
he's left
he
the Jedi
wanted
Order,
power. He wanted more power.
more power.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're dark side users, so that's going to be something that they're aiming for. And if they view partnering with Elsbeth as a means to achieve power,
Yeah.
then that's probably what they're going for, as opposed to their absolute loyalty to her or the cause of the Empire. And it seemed like Balin didn't want to kill Ahsoka, almost like he had reverence for
Yeah, what
who
that
she was.
that last
Yeah,
scene
where
where he
she
said
asked
it
if
would
he
be
was-
a shame.
Yeah, if he was being sentimental, and he said no, it's the truth.
That was
So
interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting line.
But
a little bit of insight
what you were
into his
saying,
character.
what is her name? Shin. Is that what it?
Yes.
I mean,
Shin Hattie. Yeah.
she definitely seems like she has a lack of trust with everything that's going on. And it makes me wonder if she's going to later on.
Yeah. She does have the Padawan braid, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
So some form of Jedi tradition being carried on there.
Yeah.
There were so many moments that I expected there to be cheesy dialogue, and there was not. Modern cinema and filmmaking, and Disney in particular, when someone says a thing, you can almost fill in the blank of what the other person's going to say, and it's really cheesy dialogue. I didn't notice anything like that. And it's not to say that there wasn't anything cheesy, but again, it's in line with their characters and with Rebels.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. It felt in line with Rebels, like partial Rebels, and then also more professional. Would you say professional? More professional dialogue.
Writing. Yeah.
The first thing, like Sesti mentioned, how the first episode, the first scenes are going to make us. That's something I was kind of looking out for, because that's something that turns me off is... Sorry, what's another way I could say that? That's something...
It causes you to become disinterested.
Yes, that is something that causes me to be disinterested, is the dialogue. That's one of my biggest complaints out of a lot of the Disney.
Yeah. There wasn't anything that I noticed that was out of universe.
Yeah.
Or like it didn't belong in Star Wars. Except for maybe the rock music that people are going to complain about, but for us that wasn't an issue.
Yeah, it wasn't too big of a seem to
Yeah.
matter.
But I mean, it's
like-
just I'm happy. I'm happy with what we got so far, and I'm not being a Disney shill. I'm not, just saying that this is excellent. It's everything I ever wanted. But it's a good start. It's a very good start, and it gives me hope for the rest of the season.
I know. I don't want to get my hopes up
That's-
though. That's why I
that's the
gotta
thing.
bring myself back down to
That's the
my neutral seat and
We will
hope for the best.
we will get a better idea after next week, after we get the third one, because this was obviously the premiere. They wanted us to have these to pique our interest for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we get any filler episodes or whatever people like to call it, or if it's just very interesting. My biggest thing in Star Wars, you guys know this, is the world building. And I felt like we learned more about the world of Star Wars through those episodes. A little bit of tradition on Lothal, a little bit of the shipyards on Corellia.
Yeah.
Just little bits and pieces of world building, and I want that table. I want that table so bad.
Yeah, I kind of wanted that too.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Be able to put it away and,
you
have all
the
that
whole
extra space. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Well, that's going to do it for our recap review of the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. Again, 8.5 for me out of 10.
9.
Yeah. Very happy with it.
9.
Definitely let us know in the comments how you felt about these episodes. And if you want to discuss this even further, join our Discord server and you can talk with all of us, because we have a pretty active community in there. A lot of great guys in there to discuss all of these things. So join the Discord server. If you want, you can like the video. You don't have to, but we'd appreciate it. But I think that's going to do it. So thank you very much for watching. If you've been here from the very beginning of the video, we really appreciate your time. May the stash be with you.
And we will see you
Wherever we happen to see you in the galaxy.
Wait.
What?
Wait, I was thinking we were gonna clink and then we didn't clink. Say it again.
Clink.
No.
Just clink it.